Hello everyone and welcome back to the Deercast. You're joining us at the British Shooting Show at the kind invitation of Leica. We're here with Mark Karn from Leica Optics UK, Sports Optics UK I should say. And Mark is kindly going to give us a bit of a rundown as to Leica's sort of position within the UK market, and we've also put out on Instagram a little thing asking for some questions, and we've had some user questions in, and Mark is kindly going to field some of those for you today. So, Mark.
Hi Harry, how are you?
Take it away. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, find a way. Right, Leica Sport Optics, our biggest part of our business is obviously the nature market, which is where we've had a long-standing tradition. However, Leica for over 25 years has sort of led the way, with all due respect to our competition, in rangefinders, predominantly, the GeoVids, GeoVid R, GeoVid HDB, getting involved in ballistics. We had rifle scopes really since 2015, because obviously there was other reasons why. So we're quite new in the UK with our rifle scopes, but they all follow the same performance criteria of our binoculars, which is high quality optical products. So we've shown growth year on year. We're obviously, since the change in some of the laws in Germany, we now got thermal units, and of course we all know in the UK that is a huge market. So we're onwards and upwards and expanding, because you have to keep moving with the times.
Yeah, and Leica offers four different kind of ranges of scopes. There's the Magnus, Fortis, Amplus, and the PRS.
Yeah.
Within the UK, which is the best sort of selling category if you had to sort of pin your colours to the mast?
As we stand at the moment, I would have said the Amplus.
Yeah.
It's premium quality, but it's at a lower price point than, shall we say, Magnus and Fortis. Fortis, we've done well, but I'll be the first to admit we got more growth advantage there. The Magnus, out of those that you've mentioned, would be the sort of, worst word, an older version or older model, because that was our sort of 6.7 times magnification. So at the moment I would say it's Amplus. Yeah. Predominantly 56mm objectives. Yeah. Whereas in other parts of the world it's the driven scope.
And in terms of scopes versus binoculars, I presume the binoculars and binocular rangefinders are again a bigger part of the UK market than the scopes, or is that not true?
No, that's totally true.
Totally true.
Totally true. So within the hunting market, we are known for GeoVids, yeah. And they've been out a lot longer. But conventional optics, I would say, in hunting is not as buoyant as rangefinders, as thermal, as rifle scopes. So we've had a change of times, yeah. Since I've been, yeah, in the optics industry.
And in terms of your sort of entry to the thermal market, that was sort of 2 or 3 years ago with the first Calinox?
Yes, it was 3 years ago. Calinox View, which actually we did really well with. Calinox sight as a clip-on was obviously it's very busy in Germany because of the law changes. I would have said here, without being detrimental to our own product, I think we've moved on as a UK market now with thermal rifle scopes, and obviously, why haven't Leica got one? The laws in Germany are different to some of the other suppliers, and if you look at the German, Austrian type manufacturers, you don't see many thermal rifle scopes for obvious reasons.
Yeah. So, controversial question for you.
Okay.
And this was asked by one of our listeners, so it's not me deliberately trying to put you in a difficult position, I promise, Mark. But someone commented on one of the posts we put out saying, okay, great, understand Leica's a good brand, but if I was spending that sort of money, why would I choose Leica over Swarovski?
Right. I certainly will never speak negatively about the competition. I would always say to people, go with an open mind. Pick up Swarovski, Leica, and find which one suits you. Now, I say that I have the data, and the human eye may not see the data. Our tubes in general, I'm going to be general on this in fairness to Swarovski, tend to be thicker.
Yeah.
We have a culture of robustness. A lot of people I see on forums, Swarovski have the best glass. With all due respect, I know the type of glass. We're all using a similar glass. The coatings change, and it really is down to personal choice. And I'm taking away the marketing element of this. But I've been in groups and crowds between us all. We know good and bad and everything about most people's products. But if anyone went to buy a Swarovski and that's their preference, and they got on better with a Swarovski than Leica, that's fine. It's individual choice.
Yeah.
But we do have benefits.
And Leica and well, I suppose Swarovski aside, if you were saying to someone that you ought to buy a Leica scope, what is it about the Leica products that you think is sort of sets it aside from, say, the competition?
I would say the biggest thing about Leica products, and I've had this data for a number of years, and I've worked for other companies, is color neutrality. So because we have very low stray light, that obviously affects, you don't lose the contrast. So Leica is known for color neutrality. Through the visible light spectrum, we're not always going to be the highest in transmission at a specific point of the light spectrum, but we're evenly high across the entire spectrum. So with some figures, it starts low, then it goes to a point, and then it drops quite quickly, whereas ours goes up, levels, flat, then drops down. So of optical performance, low light performance, we've got quite an even spread across the visible light spectrum.
Yeah. And in terms of the sort of technology that's been released by Leica in the last couple of years, especially with the binoculars, you're sort of ahead of the competition in terms of the features that you're able to offer with the ballistics, with the applied ballistics in particular, and the sort of range-finding binoculars that you have out there in the market.
Yeah, they've enhanced what they've had a long tradition to do, and so you're now utilising apps as opposed to downloads. You Bluetooth the information across. It actually, once you've learned how to set it all up, if you got the confidence, and I've got some professionals that use it, and what the reading gives them, they actually use it.
Yeah.
So I think it depends how much you want to get out of the technology. It's always rule of thumb. You've always got to be safe and secure, obviously, but if you just spend a little bit of time setting it up, it should enhance your experience.
So another question that's come through from one of our listeners was, how, if they've got a Leica product already, how do they go about organising a service of that product?
Okay, now in our case, and I'm not going to be political about Brexit or anything else, but we've changed how we've had to do things. So previously, we have a Leica factory in Portugal. I've been around that. I've been around other factories of other manufacturers, so I certainly have no problem with saying where that factory is, and the level of workmanship is exceptionally high. So what happens is you would send your Leica product to our offices in London. They will do the customs paperwork. They will then send it to Portugal. It will come back to us. We will do the customs paperwork, and we will then forward it on to the owner. The process has slightly added on the time, but that's out of our hands and everything else. But we have an excellent customer service department who will arrange the handling.
And out of curiosity, is that something people should be doing? As in, should you go, right, well, every 5 years I'll just take my rifle scope off, send it off for a service, or should you just, if there are no problems with it, just leave it alone, and if and when a problem arises, then send it for service?
If there's no fault and you look after it, there's no need to send it in. I mean, I would say the most common thing that I've come across is obviously where someone's used their shirt to clean the lens.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, with all optical products, if you've got a good lens cloth, the first thing you should do, you blow to remove any dust particles. You then should breathe on it, because you shouldn't be cleaning a lens dry. So if you just breathe on it and then small circular motions just to sort of keep it clean, you don't have to have a service. That's up to you. But if something goes wrong, I would then say, or something starts to go wrong, send it in. Don't prolong it so that condition gets worse, because all that happens then, you're going to end up with a larger bill because more things could go wrong.
Yeah. I'm curious. Another question that we've had, which I think is really interesting, is in your experience of the sort of rifle scope market, are there any big sort of myths out there that you want to sort of dispel?
Sure. Please, I'm not questioning some of the comments made. You know, oh, I've got a 30mm tube, it lets in more light than my 1-inch tube. No, it doesn't. The size of the tube is irrelevant to light transmission. What a larger tube will obviously do is give you more travel. That's also dependent on the manufacturer. It's not to say all manufacturers 34mm tubes will give more than someone else's 30mm. That's down to the engineers. I also think a lot of people question sort of eye relief and what's the benefits of large eye relief. Well, if you can find that out for yourself, some of it. Mounting, I personally like the rail system. It's still one piece machined. It's very, very popular in Germany. We're predominantly, like the Americans, ring mounted. I think if anyone had a rail system and they fitted it, it is so easy, you would most probably stick to it. It doesn't mean, if you buy the right mounts, that the rifle scope is going to sit too high off the barrel. That's a bit of a myth that I've heard people say, if I get a rail scope, it's going to sit too high. No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't.
Interesting. Mark, thank you very much.
No, thank you.
We've taken up a huge amount of your time. We've asked you some slightly tricky and difficult questions, so appreciate that you've answered those and answered them as honestly and truthfully as you have. So thank you very much.
Okay, guys, thank you.